everyone, I'm Libby from ProWritingAid and welcome to another session in our ongoing series of events for writers. We love bringing in experts to help you develop your writing skills, and I am delighted to welcome Nick Stephenson today. Nick is a USA Today bestselling author of thriller, science fiction and nonfiction. His Leopold Blake series has over 1,000 5-star reviews, and over 1 million copies have been downloaded to date, with fans all over the globe. He also teaches other authors how to find their first 10,000 readers and to make a living from their writing online, so you are in good hands. And most importantly for today's session, he is the co-founder of Nerdly, a new website platform for professional authors. Nick is going to share loads of insight he has gained from working with over 1,000 authors on their author sites and book marketing plans with you today. So without further ado, I'm going to hand the session over to Nick, and I will see you at the end for questions. And remember to use that Q&A box.
Hi, hello, Nick. Thank you very much for the introduction. And yes, I have sold over one book, so I'm you're in very good hands. So a little bit of tech testing before we jump in. I'm going to share my screen, and fingers crossed here that I don't melt the internet. So I'm just going to share a presentation, and I'm going to ask in the chat box, can you please let me know if you can see the slide? It should have a yellow background with the word books written on it. And yes, we did do some practicing with this before the session, and it was revealed that I am completely incompetive at using Zoom.
Well, you're getting lots of yeses in the chat, so I think you're all good to go. Yes,
well, this is it. I now can see the chat box. So we've fixed my incompetence a little bit. So this is good. So lots of yeses. I'd love to see you melt the internet, says Gary. Yes, well, I actually have done. I did one of these last year, and I did actually break my internet connection about 20 minutes in, which was really fun. But that's not going to happen today. Today it's going to go wonderfully smoothly, and everyone's going to have a lovely time. So I'm going to come off of the webcam because I keep distracting myself, which is never very good. But you should still be able to hear me. Today we're going to be looking at a few really cool things, all to do with growing your audience and your email list, making more sales, and how to build a system so that you can automate all of this. Because obviously, if you have to spend all day doing marketing stuff, it doesn't leave a lot of time for other things. So we're going to look at how to build this out with your website as well. And as we go through, please do feel free to put questions in the chat box or the questions box as we go. If I can answer them during the session, I will do. Otherwise, we will save them for the Q&A session at the end. So please do feel free to type them in there, and I'll try and get to everybody before the end of today. So welcome to today's session. We are looking at the 7 key elements of a successful author website, and more specifically, how a few simple tweaks to your site can help you more than double your launch results. So that's what we're going to be covering today. So welcome to the live show. You are absolutely in the right place if you are an author, of course, or an aspiring author. So if you haven't published your first book yet, don't worry, we will cover this for you as well. And if you've ever had that feeling when it comes to marketing where you're not really quite sure what to do, you have to do something, so you try a little bit of everything, and it's very much a case of throwing spaghetti at a wall, and you want to learn something that actually works, that you can apply today without driving yourself crazy, then you are absolutely in the right place. So if that does sound like you, please do give me a yes in the chat box, and then we'll know that everybody is in the right place today, and we're all going to get something out of it. So let me know. Lots and lots of yeses. Wonderful. That's always a good sign. Okay, so what we're going to cover today then, we're going to start off talking about the marketing side of things. So the principles behind growing an email list, why you want to grow an email list in the first place, and how to use it. And then we're going to look at a more hands-on approach of how to set it all up. So this is where the 7 essential elements of your website come into play. So this all works together in a delicious jigsaw puzzle of awesomeness. And I'm going to give you an introduction to our website software, Nerdly, which is a drag and drop website platform for authors that we've designed from the ground up to give you everything you need. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. And then we're going to have a big Q&A session at the end. And for everyone who stays until the end, I've got a link for you at the end of the show where you can get hold of a free course all about building up your sales to $1,000 a month or more. So if you are one of those hardcore people and you stay all the way to the end, then I'll give you that link to go look at as well. So hello, for those of you who haven't met me, my name is Nick Stephenson. I'm a fiction and non-fiction author, and I've written thrillers and science fiction, how-to books, and quite a few blog posts and emails in my time. I've also hit the USA Today bestsellers list and been featured on a load of popular podcasts that I've listed out below that have all been really fantastic. So really, I started off my career writing novels, and then I've expanded into other things as well. And I've just always enjoyed learning how the process works and then teaching it to other people as well. So these are my kids and my horses and my dogs and cat and baby. Yes, we have a 6-week-old baby as well. So, you know, I do enjoy stress. And we have ducks and chickens and geese. We are living quite the rural farm life. But the story behind Nerdly really is comes down to the frustration. And for anybody on the line who has ever kind of looked at the technology behind building an author business and getting very frustrated, this was me. So I started off building websites for my business using a bunch of like free tools and blog sites and plugins, and had a miserable time of it. And I was just waiting and waiting for someone to come along with something that was designed for authors. And nobody ever did. So I decided to go and get one built myself. So that is where Nerdly comes in. And that's really the context behind what we're talking about today. Is I've kind of lived through the frustrations of not getting anything to work and come out the other side with a tool that I hope will fix it for everybody. So I started publishing back in 2012 when I started writing my first novel. That was published in 2013. Like everybody, when you first get started, I had literally no idea what I was doing. No fans, no email list, no business connections, none of that. I mean, nobody's born with an email list. More's the pity. But I struggled for a long time with it. All right, as a lot of people do. And let me know if this sounds familiar. So for the first few years, I was working what I call the DDJ. Also known as the dreaded day job, which basically meant sneaking into the office early to get writing done, staying late, working through lunch breaks, and sneaking off during meetings to try and get that chapter finished off. If only I could hit my 1,200 words for the day, I would be happy. I knew that my books were great. You know, the few reviews that I did have were all sort of 5-star reviews. Everybody enjoyed them, but why couldn't more people see them? You know, I spent nearly 2 years making almost zero income from books. And then these guys came along. So let me know in the chat box, have you ever heard of a company called BookBub? Give me a yes or a no in the chat box. Let's see. All right, lots and lots of yeses, a few no's. So BookBub, for those of you who don't know, is a book advertising service, and you pay anywhere up to about $1,500 to get featured in their daily emails. And it goes out to millions and millions of people, and people sell thousands and thousands of copies. And it's an absolutely fantastic discovery tool. I mean, it's expensive, but it works. And it is basically just an email list. BookBub is just a giant email list, and they send book deals to that email list. And I thought to myself, if these guys can just build an email list and send emails to them to make sales, why can't I do that? So this kind of forced me to change my mindset. So after hundreds of hours of researching and spending ridiculous amounts of money on things that just didn't work, like Google ads, I could never get Google ads to work for fiction. But I tried to figure out what it was that made BookBub work. You know, how did they build an email list? What do they do with it? How does it all fit together? And looked at what other successful e-commerce businesses were doing too. So looking at how Amazon gets you to spend a ridiculous amount of money every time you land on their page. How do they do it? Looking at what Google does, looking at what Facebook does, to try and understand what turns a click into a sale and how to give my business that same edge as well. And I took the best of what I learned, adapted it for books and put my own spin on it, went through this sort of mad scientist phase and came out the other end. And there was mistakes, of course, but as time went on and I kept plugging away, success started to happen and my business kept on growing. So in year one, it was kind of making a bit of pocket change. Year two was a definite improvement as we started growing our audience. And then year three really started taking off. And then year four, it absolutely exploded. So exponential growth from year four onwards. And that's for books and for courses and software all together. And this is because I built a system that focused on growing an audience and turning those clicks into sales so that I can focus on other things and let this marketing system work in the background. But the key thing is, as my audience grows, so does my income. That's the main thing. So we're going to be looking at growing that audience and how to use it today. Okay, so it's all about baby steps. All right, so don't worry if there's a lot to cover, because we're going to take it step by step today. Okay, and this is exactly what I teach to other people as well. So what specifically happened was a big increase in book sales, which is obviously what we're all here to learn how to do, but also an increase in my email list as well. So this is a snapshot from my MailChimp account, which was the software I used at the time, showing growth over the months of people joining my email list. And you can see how the growth of the email list corresponds to the growth of the sales. And it also means that when you have an email list, you can then sell them other things as well. So you don't have to rely on websites like Amazon to keep sending you customers. You can generate them yourself. You can send them to other places to buy other things as well. It gives you that control and that freedom so that if I want to go on holiday, I don't have to worry about things exploding while I'm off having fun on the beach or doing some dad dancing, because it's all taken care of and working in the background. So that's where we want to get to. I've helped thousands of authors over the years. In particular, we'll hear from some of them later, like Joanna Penn and Russell Blake and loads of other people as well. I'll give you some examples of how they're getting some great results with what we're talking about today too. But the main thing is my entire life changed as a result of understanding that growing an audience is really the main focus for any online business. And believe me, if I can do it, because I started from zero, then you can too. And it's all about implementing the system we're going to look at today. And this is something that Simon here implemented as well. He says, just a quick message to say a huge thank you. This time last year, I was an exhausted secondary school teacher. This year, I've launched 5 books, all into the top 40 of the charts, sold 100,000 books, 25 million KU page reads, and have my 10,000 email subscribers. I just thought you'd like to know how things turned out, which is always wonderful to hear. So what we're looking at today is exactly what Simon implemented with his books too. So without any further ado, let's jump on in. So the big question then is, how do we sell books? That is the burning question. Now, the process is fairly simple. We only need 3 things in place. And to the person who asked about whether this is for self-publishers only, no, this applies to anyone. In fact, it doesn't even just apply to books. It applies to anything you want to sell online. You will need these 3 things: some traffic, or in other words, people seeing your stuff; conversions, a way to turn that traffic into something useful, which might be a sale, or it might be an email subscriber so that you can sell to that person multiple times and build a relationship in the long term. And then you need a system to automate and scale, because it's no good having traffic and converting all that traffic if you have to spend all day doing it manually. So we're never going to scale up that way, and it's going to be horrible. So we need to build out a system that allows this to run in the background. So here's what we do then. So traffic is part 1 of the puzzle. So there's no shortage of that on the internet, thankfully, and we're going to go through some simple methods for that today. Then we're going to look at conversion. So how to turn as many people from a random visitor into an email subscriber. And I'm going to tell you why we want them to be an email subscriber in a moment. And then we're going to look at how to automate and scale. So we need to build this into an automated system that's going to take care of all this day-to-day stuff so that you can focus on other things. Now, as I said, we want to turn people into an email subscriber. We want to grow that email list, but why do we want to do that? And the main reason is because we control our email list. It belongs to us. We are in control of it, unlike Facebook followers or Instagram followers or paid advertising, where we have no control over any of it, and it could be taken away at any time. And we've seen this over the years with Amazon and Facebook and Google. They make big sweeping changes to their policies, and entire businesses just flat out go broke because they no longer work anymore. More recently, Apple has started introducing changes with their iPhone and their iOS software, meaning that advertising tracking doesn't work anymore, which is going to cause a lot of problems. The rules keep on changing, but they don't with email, because you control that email list, and they can try and restrict your ability to read the email data, but you can still see what's happening behind the scenes. You still control that list, and you can take it with you. All right. Then the other thing is about advertising as well. A lot of people like the idea of spending money on ads, but you need a big series for that to work, and clicks are expensive, whereas clicks from an email list are largely free. So with email, we control our subscribers. We can take them with us if we want to. We can control the content. If you're running an ad or posting on Facebook, you're quite limited with what you can say and how many words you can use. With email, you can write whatever you like. Okay, we can control the brand. We can build a relationship, a long-term relationship, two-way conversation with our fans, and build a true audience of fans, not just kind of hit and hope and, hope that something good's going to happen. We're going to build an email list that's sustainable and reliable, full of people who will buy from us again and again. So my advice to you is to focus on what you can control. And that will be your email list, your number one business asset that's going to work hard for you in the long term. So a few examples from people on the screen here with Marco, who used his email list to hit the number one with his new book and a free book on the same day. Nick here, who's got a great name, also hit a bestseller status with his first book. And Emmanuel, who had a record-breaking launch using what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to go into detail about what these guys did to get those results. So how does it all work then? The traffic, conversions, and scale, this sort of three-step blueprint or formula. How does it all work? Well, we're going to use something called reader magnets to convert random visitors into email subscribers and fans. We're going to implement an automated traffic strategy. It's a fancy way of saying we're going to tell lots of people about it, to keep subscribers coming through all the time. And then we're going to set up a simple email marketing plan to build a relationship and sell to our email list without being pushy or scammy or sleazy or horrible. So let me know in the chat box if you have ever wanted to send a sales email and it's just been awful and you've really not wanted to send it and it's stressed you out, and you've really just not enjoyed the process at all. Let me know in the chat box what the thought of sending a sales email feels like to you. So Nina says, oh yeah. Or someone says, yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Gary says, oh, sales is my absolute favorite. Not. Gio says daunting. George says confusing. Lots of people. Yes, I don't think anyone has a nice thing to say about sending a sales email. But what we want to look at really is making it a pleasant experience for everybody. Imagine it like this. You're in a restaurant. If you sit down at your table and the waiter or waitress never comes over to ask you what you want, you're going to be annoyed. Okay, we want it to be like that. We want your readers to think it's weird if you don't email them, because they want to hear from you. They like your books and they want more of them. That's where we want to get to, so that everybody is happy. So that's what we're going to look at today as well. So let me know in the chat box, have you ever heard of the term reader magnets? Give me a yes or a no. Let's see where we're at. Yes, 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 yes. Lots of yeses, some nos. Okay, well, good. For those of you who've never heard of it, reader magnets is kind of the foundation of what we're going to look at today. And I am an expert on this because I literally wrote the book on it. So there we go. So reader magnets, in principle, is what we're going to use to turn those random visitors into fans who want to hear from you. So reader magnets basically is something of value that you give to your readers in exchange for their email address. Very simple. Now, usually for authors, this might be another book in the same series. So let's say you write thrillers. You could offer a free short story or a free novella or something like that in the same series featuring the same characters. Or if you don't write in a series, you can offer a short story that's in the same genre. Something relevant to what people are reading, to what you sell. Okay, so for nonfiction people, this might be a cheat sheet. So if you've written a big how-to book on how to do something really cool, you could offer a cheat sheet, a condensed version that people can download. You could offer audio versions, video versions, anything that's going to be relevant to people who want to read your other books as well. So it's giving them that enticement to sign up to your list. So to get the gift, a reader signs up to your newsletter. And if you get this right, you can absolutely supercharge your results. And to Dog Woman 3, we are going to be talking about building an author website in a few minutes, but this is the context to why we want to do it. So how does it work? So here's how it looks then. So what we want is a large graphic in the front and the back of all your books that's going to say, free book if you come and join my email list, basically. So subscribe and get my free cookbook is the example here, but it might be a thriller, it might be a how-to book, it might be something else. We're going to link through to a special landing page on your website. where readers can sign up to your newsletter in return for the free gift. So here's an example from one of my fiction books. If you go and have a look on one of my thriller books, inside the front cover, you'll see this graphic that says, get this novella for free when you join my email list. And I've repeated this at the back of the book as well. So every time somebody picks up one of my books, they see this offer, they click through, they sign up, they're on my email list, they get their free book. So they'll click through to a landing page, which is like a sign up page on your website, which might look a little bit like this. So you have a picture of the cover, a headline, a little description, and then a button, which when clicked opens up a form and people can enter their email address, click the button, and they are signed up onto your email list. And then you can automatically deliver that gift to them. So screenshots on the screen here. On the left-hand side, this is a service called MailerLite. On the right-hand side is a website, a email service called MailChimp. I've chosen these two because they both have free plans. All right. So when somebody joins your email list, they are stored in one of these databases, and you can trigger an automatic welcome email that goes out as soon as they join, which contains a link where they can download their free gift. Okay, so after someone signs up, that automated email comes out. It has a link inside it, which leads to a download page. And there's an example of a download page on the right-hand side there. So for ebooks, we like to give instructions. So this is how you load it onto a Kindle. Here's how you load it onto an iPhone with the Kindle app. Here's what to do if you have a Nook or a Kobo. And here's a PDF if you can't be bothered with any of that. So that's what we do. So I offer the reader magnet everywhere. So that graphic and that offer is everywhere, especially in all my books. Readers click through to my website and sign up. The free gift is automatically emailed to them, and then they're on my email list, which means that I can email them about my other books, my back catalogue, launches that I've got coming up, promotions that I'm running. But the end result is that you have a built-in audience that you control that already likes you, because they wouldn't have signed up for your email list if they didn't like you. So they must at least enjoy your books. So it's a very targeted audience. And yes, people are asking, what kind of thing can I use as a reader magnet? Well, really anything that's relevant to your audience. And if you don't have something, you can write something short. A lot of people write a short story to use as a reader magnet, because once someone's on your list, you can then set up additional emails to go out at regular intervals, maybe 3 weeks after they've signed up. You could introduce them to the rest of your catalog. 3 weeks after that, you could send them an email about a different book, etc., etc. And then when you're ready to launch your next book or your first book, you have that built-in audience of people who are waiting to hear from you. And you can even use them to recruit reviewers. So you can send out advanced copies for people to review on launch day. And you can use it to boost your sales during that first week of launch, because you've got that audience already there waiting to hear from you. So this is absolutely the foundation of everything we're doing. So your email list is your number one business asset. The bigger your list, the more sales you're going to make. And especially if you can automate it, that means that you can focus on doing other things instead. All right, so that's what we want to do. Get that built up in the background as much as we can. So with the reader magnets machine in place, and I'm calling it a quote machine because that's what it is. It's a network of tools that we're systemizing together to work the way we want. All right. So we need to drive more people to those sign up pages. All of that machine stuff is taken care of. So all we need is traffic. Okay. That's all we need now. So here's how to do that. And don't worry, I'm going to take you through how to set all of this up as well. So traffic then, as I said, there's no shortage of this on the internet. So you can either pay for it with ads, or you can hustle for it, or you can do both. We're going to cover a few very simple traffic strategies today, which are either going to be free or very cheap. And we're going to look at Permafree, contests, and joint promotions. These are three things that everybody on this workshop can do. Number one is Permafree. Now, in essence, this is offering a free book that's free all the time. Okay, now I'll show you why this is important in just a moment. But basically what we're doing is we publish a book on Amazon and all the other stores as well. And it's $0, £0, 000 all the time. And the reason we do this is because free books get 50 to 100 times more downloads than even the cheapest paid books. And the value for us is in the traffic, because we're focusing on building an email list. An email subscriber is worth more to us than a sale, because it represents potential multiple sales in the future. And all those free downloads, they will see your reader magnet offer. So if you're getting 1,000 free downloads, that's 1,000 people seeing that reader magnet offer. That's more people on your email list. All right. More people are going to see it. More people are going to click through to your website. More people are going to sign up to your email list. And the best thing is it doesn't cost you anything to do. All you need to do is publish your book, usually via a distributor like Draft to Digital or Smashwords. And what you do there is you set the price to 0, and they will publish it through to Apple and Nook and Kobo and a bunch of other places as well. And once it goes free on those main platforms, you can email Amazon KDP and ask for a price match. They've even got an email template you can use to contact them about this. Your book will usually go free on Amazon in 2 to 3 days. And another bonus, some people will then actually buy the next book in your catalog too. So especially if you have a few books out, doing this can be incredibly effective. Like this author here, Lindsay Baroka. She's a very prolific science fiction author, very successful. She's written lots and lots of different series of books. And the thing that ties them all together is that each series, the first book is free, which is enticing more people to try it out and then move on to buy the others and to see the reader magnet offer and click through and sign up to her email list. So it's incredibly, incredibly effective. Remember, the value is in the traffic. So Permafree is one good option, especially if you're just getting started. Another option is contests, or in some places they're called sweepstakes. Now, you don't need an email list to run a contest. What you need to do then is come up with an idea for a contest, a prize, something that your ideal reader is going to love. So on the right-hand side here, the example is a bundle of famous kids' books. All right, so this author is a children's book author. She has offered a bundle of children's books by famous people. All right, so it's the kind of buyers she wants to attract who are relevant to what she writes. Okay, listing them on giveaway directory sites. If you go onto Google and you type in giveaway directory, you will find hundreds of websites that you can list your contest on, usually for free. So it's ideal if you want to start growing an email list and you want to get, a couple of hundred people through really quickly, or you want to boost your existing email list. This is a really quick way of doing it. So the author in question here had 2,660 people signed up at the time I took this screenshot, and most likely even more than that by the time the contest finished. Okay, so it's a perfect fit for her audience, and she's getting thousands of people joining her email list. Okay, and another example that I did is I teamed up with 40 other authors. And we were all part of a thriller writers group. And I organized a group giveaway, and where we said we were all going to offer a paperback as the prize. So one lucky winner from our readership is going to win all 41 paperback novels. All right, now the total cost is maybe like $10 an author. It's probably nothing per author because most authors have a stack of their own books behind them. So cost is minimal. And we had 8,000 people enter. And then we had this email list the group could use to promote new books. All right, so you don't need an email list to get started with this. And it's a very quick way to start growing one. Now, software for contests is nothing too complicated, thankfully. There are contest software sites like UpViral is one, Rafflecopter, Sweep Widget, King Sumo giveaways, there's a few of them. But they allow you to run these contests, and they have a really cool feature called viral sharing, where people can actually earn extra points and extra chances of winning by referring their friends. And we found that this could increase results by 30% or more. So it's absolutely worth doing. Now, some of these have free trials that you can use as well. So it doesn't even have to cost you anything to give it a go. And Joyce says on the chat box, she says, make sure your prize works for an international audience. So this is something to bear in mind as well. In some countries, the rules around contests are a little bit different. I think certain regions of Canada, Japan, I think Germany is one to pay attention to. They're not outlawed outright, but there are a few things you have to bear in mind. If you use a piece of software like I've listed on here, they tend to handle all of that for you. So that's very easy to do and absolutely works. And you can do it by yourself, or you can team up with other people like I did, sort of do a joint contest. All right, and you promote on the giveaway directories and you see the results come in and then repeat. Okay, from Russell Noelty here, he says, I've participated in over 50 of these promotions in the last 2 years, and in the last 12 months brought in 140,000 leads, which was cool. Joyce says, think of post and packing too. Yes, good point. So with the contest we did with the paperbacks, each author sent the book themselves. So it was a bit of a pain to check up on people, but generally it worked quite well. If you're offering a prize, like a bundle of books, or maybe you're offering a Kindle, you could offer a Kindle as a prize and attract Kindle readers, then you can often ship them direct from Amazon. So if somebody wins the prize, you go onto Amazon and you go to their local Amazon store. So if I'm in the UK, for example, and the winner is in the USA, I can go to Amazon.com and I can buy the books and have them shipped directly to the winner. So that can make life a little bit easier. So that absolutely works, especially if you team up with other people as well, because then you're sort of combining forces. And this is where the next strategy comes in, which is joint promos. And I've called it join promos, which I suppose I could pretend was on purpose, but no, it's supposed to be joint promos. And the concept behind this is teaming up with other people, basically. So if you have, 300 people on an email list and you find another person who has 300 people on their email list, you've now got 600 people, and you can team up to do these launches and these promotions when you each have something going on. So you can instantly sort of double, triple, or quadruple your audience by working with other people at the same sort of level. So if you've been using Permafree and you've been using contests and you've got reader magnets in place, you are growing an email list. And now it's time to team up with other people doing the same thing to get that boost. Right. And if you don't have an email list yet, you can team up and you can run a contest like I showed you before. Now, it's quite easy to find authors these days, thankfully. There's places at bookfunnel.com. has a forum dedicated to joint promotions. You can go in there and you can find other authors to team up with. Another one is Prolific Works. There are private Facebook groups you can join, other forums, writer forums, lots of places that you can do. A question from Annie about GDPR. So you're not sharing email lists. So the specific thing here is if you team up with someone else, what you're doing is you're saying, okay, this month, we'll both email out about my book, and then next month we'll both email out about your book. So you're not sharing the contact details. You are just agreeing to email about the same thing at the same time. Just to make that clear, because we don't want to anger the GDPR gods. Absolutely not. So what emails do we send then? So we're talking about growing an email list. What are we going to send these people? So there's a few key things you need to send people. The first one is the welcome email. And remember, all of these can be set to go out automatically. So as soon as somebody signs up, they're going to be expecting to get their reader magnet. They want their free gift delivered to them. So we have to send them a welcome email as soon as they sign up, which delivers it to them with a link where they can go download it. Next, there's going to be content emails. So you're not going to be running promotions every week, probably. So in between promotions, it might be a few months till you launch something. You want to kind of keep in touch with people in between these things. So what I like to do is send out occasional newsletters, and this doesn't have to be anything particularly groundbreaking, but it's something interesting that's relevant to your audience, or just maybe giving updates or behind the scenes about your next book, talking about your project, asking people to reply to you, join a Facebook group, have a chat with you on social media, wherever it is you like to go. It's just keeping in touch and giving them something nice and interesting to read, just to keep in touch with people. And then when you do a launch, you're going to have a launch email series. So before your book launches, what you want to do is you want to email people to let them know it's coming up. Share a cover reveal. Share a sample chapter before the book goes live. Most importantly, what you want to do is offer a bonus if people buy during the first week. So we want to get as many sales as possible in that first sort of 5 to 7 days. So what we do is we offer a little bonus. So much like a reader magnet, we can have a short story, another book. We can even team up with other authors and offer one of their books for free, with permission, of course, and put a link to it in the back of the book. So that if they buy it in the first week, that link will be there for them and they can get a little bonus, which absolutely works at driving action during launch week. So as an example here, on the left-hand side, I've got 2 peaks on this graph. So what we did here was I took my email list and I split it in half. The first peak was we just sent an email out saying, my new book is ready, go and buy it. And the second peak was where we spent a couple of weeks sending some teaser emails, doing a cover reveal, a sample chapter, talking about a little bonus story they could get if they bought it by a certain date. And you can see more than double the results. And the same from Emmanuel's experience here. What we have is, if you imagine your email list is split into 3 sections. All right, so you've got maybe 10% are your super fans and they're going to buy whatever happens because they love you. You've got 10% who are sort of never going to buy anything. and they're confused, they don't know where they are, why they're on your email list, they probably fall down quite a lot. And then you've got 80% are left. And these are what we call the fence sitters or the sideliners. These are the people who haven't quite made up their mind if they want to buy it yet. So this is why we do, we spend a bit of time building a relationship, getting them to, understand what we do, enjoy our work, give them a little sample, a little tease, and a little bonus thank you if they buy it during launch week. The more people that you can convert in that 80% chunk of fence sitters, the better your results are going to be. And that's why we do it. So the key point is none of this is complicated, right? We're not trying to develop a fancy sort of retargeting ad campaign that, targets people who have spent 37 seconds looking at this page, but not that page, and have green eyes and blonde hair and are left-handed. It's not trying to find hacks or loopholes. No, it's just simple concepts to get traffic, turn it into something useful, and then scale it up. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do. So Joanna Penn, we implemented this for her. So using reader magnets and Permafree, she tripled her email list, and her nonfiction website conversions improved by over 50%. Made a massive difference. All right, so to recap, traffic then. So to get traffic, we're using Permafree books, contests, and joint promotions to get the ball rolling. And we're going to see early growth fast. Conversion, so we want to turn that traffic into something useful then. We're using reader magnets, that free gift, to get readers off Amazon and onto our own email list, where we can influence the relationship and build trust, and then scale. So we're using simple automation tools like your email marketing system and your website to make this all work sort of on autopilot behind the scenes, so that when we're ready to start advertising, we can do it at scale without having to spend all day shackled to a desk. Okay, and because we put the work in at the start, we know that we can grow profitably. And the best part is, with your email list growing in the background, you can get on with other stuff, like writing your next book, growing your business, going skydiving, walking the dog, or whatever it might be. With me, it's feeding the children. It takes forever. And the idea is, having these automated emails set up, you can then introduce people to the rest of your catalog over time. So the more people you get through subscribing to your list, the more people are going to see your backlist, see your launches, see your promotions, join your review team, give you reviews, spread the word, and results, as we've seen earlier, can improve exponentially. All the while knowing that your next, or maybe your first book, is ready to go. You've got that audience of fans ready to go. So in the next part then, we're going to look at how do we build all of this. Okay, so this is the fun part then, building out the system and making it something that reflects you as an author, as a brand. Okay, now there's really just two things you need at this point, a website and some email marketing software. As we mentioned earlier, email marketing software, there's a lot of them. There's loads of them. I tend to recommend two. The first one is MailerLite, which I generally recommend as a sort of default position, because it kind of has everything you need and it's free for up to 1,000 subscribers, which is a great thing to start with. If there's something you want, something a bit more powerful that has a few more features built in, there's a service called ConvertKit that is very, very good, but they don't have a free plan. So if you want something free to start with, use MailerLite. If you want something powerful right from the beginning, use ConvertKit. So don't spend long thinking about this. And even if you don't want to use one of those two, if you're using something else, that's fine. Any modern email marketing software will absolutely work. Doesn't matter. They all pretty much do the same thing. If you have one in mind that you like, or you're using one that you like, stick with it, or use one of my suggestions. You can always move later. If you're not sure, start with MailerLite. They're easy to use. They have a free plan. Okay, so don't worry too much about that. With your website then, this is where things get a bit more complicated because of the sheer amount of options out there, some of which are better than others. Now, websites are important just in the same way as book covers are important. A book cover not only has to look nice, it has to be appropriate for the genre that you write in. It has to do a job. It has to get somebody to click on it. It's performing a function, but it also has form as well. Form and function have to work together. Same with your website. Okay, the website can't just be pretty. Okay, it has to function as well. And it might have perfect function, but it looks absolutely awful. That's not going to work particularly well either. So we kind of want it to have a nice balance of both. So most authors, understandably, aren't website designers. If you are a website designer, please tell me in the chat box. It'd be interesting to see. Now, if authors were website designers, we'd probably spend more time doing that than we would writing. All right. And most website designers aren't authors either. Okay, so this is the key thing, is a website designer, and C. Salazar is a website designer, and you can tell me as well. As a website designer who doesn't necessarily know what it's like to be an author, it can be difficult for even the best designers to understand what works for you as an author. Because what works for a restaurant isn't going to work for an author. You know, it's a very different way of looking at things. All right, so in this part of the workshop, we're going to combine the sort of two things, the design and the function, to come up with something that's going to work for everybody. All right, we're going to look at the 7 key elements that every author website needs that's going to help you build out this system that we've looked at so far. Okay, so choices in general at the moment are, traditionally, there's been 3. A popular one is using free or cheap blog themes like WordPress.com. It's free. You can install a theme on it. It's free. And, you know, it's kind of okay. Not brilliant. You can hire a designer. But again, you know, the designer might not understand what an author site needs to do, and it could be expensive. You know, designing a site from scratch for a designer, it's a lot of work, and they quite rightfully charge quite a lot for it. And then there's also generic website builders as well, which are a popular choice, especially recently. Now, the problem with this is there's always a bit of compromise with the free and the cheap themes. And I used these for years, by the way, because I enjoyed tinkering with them and sort of duct taping different apps together to try and get it to do what I wanted. And I had this amazing sense of achievement when I managed to get this sort of WordPress.com free site to kind of do what I wanted it to. I mean, it looked awful. It barely worked. And every time the software updated, it broke. This is what I call the duct tape dilemma. And this was my life for years. I got very fed up with it. Designers, I've used designers as well. They can create you beautiful sites if you find a good one. And it's not guaranteed you will find a good one. But they quite rightfully charge thousands of dollars for a custom site. Now, you can find cheaper ones, but generally speaking, that tends to just be someone installing a cheap theme. You know, a proper from scratch custom site is expensive, quite rightfully so. And then, you know, you have to pay again if you need changes or get them to change something. And then there's generic website builders. I'm not allowed to mention them by name because they have people everywhere, but they are generally sort of square shaped. I'll leave it at that. But there's, you know, lots of these around, and there's different versions of them, and they're reasonably priced. They're simple to use. They look nice. But if you want them to do something like specifically like we've looked at today, it's quite hard. You know, try adding an opt-in form that works on one of these things. It takes hours. So it's not really designed for authors. You know, it's quite a generic thing. So if you're a restaurant, it's fine. If you just need a static page, it's fine, or a couple of videos, it's all good. But, you know, if you want something that's going to grow your email list specifically for authors, it often doesn't quite work. So what do you do then? Okay, so, you know, I've tried all of these. Each has its own sort of frustration that comes with it. But this is why after 5 years of wishing something would come along and it didn't, I kind of built my own on, which is where Nerdly comes in, which we'll look at in just a few minutes. But first, I want to talk about what it is your site needs to do. So whether you're using Nerdly or something else or whatever website solution you're using, make sure it can do these 7 things and you're going to, you know, be a happy person. So the 7 essential elements then, we'll go through these in order. Purpose, the home page, books page, landing pages, thank you pages, ebook delivery, and your about page. These are the 7 sort of big granddaddies that we need to really focus on. I'll tell you why as well. So number 1 is purpose. Now, let me know in the chat box, what should the purpose of your website be? So let me know in the chat box what you think it is. I'll just take a quick drink of water. Very good. Yes. So the purpose of the website could really be anything specific, as long as it kind of falls into the main goal of growing your business. All right. So a lot of people I talk to, I ask them about websites and they say, oh, it's to increase awareness or develop my brand, which as far as I'm concerned is nonsense, because, you know, how are you measuring that? How is it helping your business? For us as authors, the website needs to do 2 things: get more sales of your books and grow your email list, which in turn will get more sales of your books. All right. So the idea is to keep this purpose in the front of our mind at all times. Every single page on your website needs to do one or the other of these things. If it doesn't, we need to tweak it. All right. So this is the main thing we need to bear in mind. It's going to shape all the other aspects of our site. So let's have a little look. So the homepage. So remember, with our purpose in mind, the homepage is likely going to be where most people find you when they go looking for you. So if they're on Google and they type your name in, they're probably going to land on your site homepage, as opposed to your landing page, which is where we send people when we get a choice. All right. So in a lot of cases, your homepage is going to be kind of your opportunity to make a really good first impression. And Libby's kindly posted in the chat as well. I wrote a whole article about this over at the ProWritingAid site. So if you want to read that as well, there's a link in the chat box. You go have a look at that later on. So remember the site's core purpose. It's either going to be driving a sale or getting an email sign up. Okay. Each page has a priority. So on your homepage, are you pushing for a sale or are you pushing for a sign up? The answer is up to you. There is no right or wrong blanket answer here. It's entirely up to you. So maybe if you are running a launch, you might use your homepage to tell people about the launch or a promotion. Maybe if you're in between promotions, you use your homepage to grow your email list. You can chop and change it around. Okay, it's entirely up to you. But whatever the purpose is, choose one, and that's going to be our main visitor conversion. All right, so that's what we want to get out of this page, and then we need to come up with what we call a call to action, or CTA. In other words, writing out something along the lines of do X and I'll give you Y. And we want to put this call to action right at the top of the homepage, above the fold, which basically means you don't have to scroll down to see it. So like this example. So in this case, we are promoting a free download of this book to get someone on our email list. All right, so that goes right at the top of the homepage. You don't have to scroll down. You can see it all on one screen, and it's got this very easy to read, very easy to see, and great color scheme, so people are going to know exactly where to click. All right, so that's what the focus is for this homepage. Okay, so the reason why we do this is whatever you put at the top of your homepage is going to get the most attention. Now, what I see a lot of authors doing is they'll have an author website and they'll put a big picture of themselves at the top that says, welcome to my site. And then there's no links or anything. And you have to sort of scroll down and there might be like some other stuff underneath it. But at no point are they asking the visitor to do anything. So whatever you do, ask the visitor to do something, either to buy something or join your email list. Okay, they don't have to obey you, but, you know, make the offer at the top of the page. So if the main goal is getting a subscriber, put your reader magnet offer up the top. If you're doing a launch or a promotion, you might want to put the new release at the top and ask people to check it out and buy it, you know, and then you have all the other stuff underneath. The other stuff being, here's a little layout template you can use when you're doing a homepage. You want your main call to action at the top. Then usually underneath that, there'll be a little introduction paragraph, then a link to your books. A lot of authors as well, surprisingly, forget to link to their books. I know it sounds bizarre, but I spent a lot of time looking at hundreds of author websites when we first started building out this Nerdly service. And I'd say about 30% of authors didn't have a books link on their homepage. It was crazy. Make sure you link to your books. If you have a blog, link to it there as well. We'll talk about blogs in a moment. And then repeat the call to action at the bottom. Okay. And remember, we used these traffic strategies we were using earlier. The more people hitting your site, the more results for you. So all of these tweaks exponentially add up as your traffic increases. So number 3, your books page, which is what I said a lot of authors forget to put on their homepage. It's a very important part. The goal here, of course, is different. It's going to be to sell copies. We want people looking at a book to buy it. So we're going to send people here when we email them about our new releases. So remember, we talked earlier about sending out emails when people join our list, introducing them to your back catalog or your new launch. This is where we're going to send them. All right. We don't really want to send them straight to Amazon. Okay. Because if they go straight to Amazon, you'll notice once you scroll down past your book, every single thing on that Amazon page is designed to get someone to buy something else that's not your book. All right. So what we kind of want to do is send them to our website first, get them to decide to buy it, and then send them to Amazon to complete the purchase, or to Apple, or even buy it direct. All right, so if you want to keep more of the revenue, you can sell direct from your own website as well, which is very cool. So there's the book catalog. So your entire catalog of books needs to be listed out somewhere. So especially as your catalog grows, you want to make it easy for readers to find what they're looking for. So ideally, you want to be able to filter it by series or genre or pen name, so that people can easily find what they're looking for, especially if you've got a larger catalog. So the easier you make it, the more sales you're going to see. I mean, there's nothing more frustrating than going onto a website, trying to find something specific and just completely failing at being able to find it. There's no need. Make it easy for people and you will get more sales. And then there's the buy page. So when you click on one of these books, it takes you through to the buy page or the sales page. Okay, so for individual books, we're going to showcase the cover, going to have a headline with the title, and then a compelling description, because you all, of course, have great book descriptions, and then the buy buttons, again, above the fold. All right, so keep it short, above the fold. If you then need to expand on something, do that underneath, because we want those buy buttons to be above the fold, no scrolling required. And remember, if you do add more stuff underneath, repeat the main call to action, those buy buttons, at the bottom too. So that's the book pages then. So we've talked about landing pages, and I'm going to give you some tips on these as well. So these are also known as opt-in pages, squeeze pages, sign-up pages. But it's a dedicated page on your website designed for one thing, which is growing your email list. So everything on this page, 100% focused on getting people on your list. So this is where we showcase the reader magnet and nothing else at all. All right, so something a bit like this. So on a landing page, big tips here, remove the header menu, completely remove it. So there's no sort of home, about, contact, share on Twitter buttons or anything like this. Remove all of that. You know, don't link to your blog, don't link to other books, don't link to anything. Just have your book cover, a headline, and the call to action to download it now, okay? This makes a massive difference, because you'll find if you give somebody a link, they will click it. And you don't want them to leave this page. You want them to sign up for it. Okay. So you need a clear and compelling headline and description. And if you want to get sort of ninja tip results as well, if you use a pop-up button, so a little button like you've got on the screen there, instead of a form when the page loads, you can see a 20% improvement. We measured it. All right. Why is this? So inviting the reader to check out the offer and click a button before you ask for the email address improves results. You're kind of giving instead of taking from people. All right, and to answer the question above from BK Amila, legal constraints for collecting emails. Yes, most people will be constrained by one law or another, but generally speaking, you have to give people informed consent when they sign up to your email list, and you have to make it easy for them to unsubscribe. Any modern email marketing platform makes this fairly easy to do. So generally speaking, you'd put a little disclaimer, or you could even have a checkbox if you wanted for that. But it's nothing too onerous, thankfully. As long as you have a privacy policy, you'll be fine. But really, this, you know, what we're talking about here with the landing pages and the home page and all this stuff, you know, all of these are tweaks that really do add up. So even small improvements, if you're making a lot of them, add up big time. Especially as we're driving more and more traffic to these pages, those results are going to skyrocket for you. Next up is thank you pages. So this is the page that someone visits or someone gets sent to after they sign up. So they've landed here, they've entered their email address, and now they get sent to a thank you page. All right, now this thank you page has a very specific function. So getting the subscriber is no good if they never check their email, right? It's a waste of time. So this is where we really spell it out. Your free book is in your inbox. Go and get it now. You spell it out for people and they will go and check their email. They'll look in their junk folder or their promo tab. If they see you in there, often they'll drag you over into the right place, which can make a massive difference. So reminding people to go open their email will improve your open rate and your results. Another ninja tip as well is what I like to call the would you like fries with that approach. Just like at McDonald's, you know, you've just bought a burger. A lot of people don't know this, but McDonald's don't make any money on burgers at all. They make money on the other stuff you buy at the counter, which is why they always say, would you like fries with that at McDonald's? Because that's where they make the money. And because you've just gotten a burger, you're going to get fries. All right, so it's similar here. If someone's just handed over their email address in return for a book, that's what we call a microtransaction. That expectation has been set, that relationship has been started, and people are generally more receptive to then purchasing something. Not everybody, but the good thing about this is if you offer someone something cool on the thank you page, it doesn't come across as pushy because they've just done something that's going to benefit them. They've got their free book. You say, oh, would you like fries with that? On the thank you page. So what I like to do is if you have a box set on Amazon, so maybe you have a few books, you can combine them together into a box set, and generally it'll be cheaper that way. So I like to say, save 25% and buy the next 2 books together. Here's a link. So you're not being pushy about it, but people are very receptive and they do tend to go and buy it, which is quite fun. So after the landing pages and thank you pages then, so people have signed up and they've joined your email list. Now we need to get them to go download their book. So we've got someone signed up. Okay, we need to provide, if you're offering them a book especially, various different file formats. If you're offering like a cheat sheet or something really short, you could give them a PDF. But if it's a short story or a novella or a novel, chances are you want to give it to them in an ebook file, which is usually going to be a Mobi file or an EPUB file, as well as the PDF, so that the book loads properly on all devices. And we want instructions. So the download page has to have instructions to help people understand how to do it, because readers in general don't really know how to load files because places like Kindle have sort of very deliberately made it so easy to buy through them and so difficult to not that people have never sort of come across it before. They don't know what to do. So you have to give them the instructions. So again, it's important to make the process really simple, have instructions for everything. And then when people join up, you can send them to this page. All right. Or if you're selling direct to people, you can send them here after they've made a purchase. So it's a very important page. Another often forgotten page is the about page as well. So almost everyone has an about page. And if you check your traffic stats, surprisingly, you'll probably find that your about page is one of the top ranked pages on your site. Because readers are interested in you, believe it or not. And you're going to get quite a lot of traffic here, quite a lot of organic traffic. And if you think about it, if someone's clicked through to your site and gone to your about page, chances are they quite like you. Okay, so this is another opportunity to add in a strong call to action. So almost nobody does this on their about page. But when you have that about page, make sure you have a strong call to action. Join my email list and get this reader magnet, or check out my latest release. It's a very good place to put that main call to action, especially as your traffic grows. That's going to make a big difference. Now, honorable mention here is to blogs. So let me know in the chat box, do you currently regularly write blog content? Let me know with a yes or a no. It's a chance to have a drink as well. Lots of no's, a few yeses, a couple of try tos, which is kind of sums me up as well. Yes, absolutely. Now, I would say, especially when you're first getting started, blogging is optional because for a few reasons, it's very time intensive. Now, Google we're doing this for search engine optimization purposes generally. So to try and rank in Google for certain keywords, this is what blogging tends to be for. It takes a very long time to get any sort of traction with this. And so Google has now gotten to the point where it can generally figure out what is good content and what is rubbish content. So you do literally have to write good content that's targeted to certain keywords very regularly, like multiple times a week, if you want to get any traction with this. So especially if you're just getting started, if you're an author and you're writing books, for heaven's sake, you don't want to have to write blogs as well. You don't necessarily have to worry about it. If you want to write blogs, by all means do it. All right. But just be aware that it takes time to work. So this is why it's an honorable mention, especially for fiction. If you're writing fiction, it's difficult to sort of frame a regular blog around fiction. It's not impossible, but it's very difficult to figure out what keywords to search for. Nonfiction, it's great. So, I have a nonfiction blog. ProWritingAid has a nonfiction blog. It's called Content Marketing, and it does work, but it takes a long time. So at this point, it's an optional thing, but it's there if you need it. Matix at Hotmail says, I'm too opinionated not to write a blog. Love it. Absolutely. So to recap then, we're using a reader magnet as a way to turn random visitors into subscribers, making people want to sign up for our email list. We're then using an email marketing provider to store all of this stuff behind the scenes, and then send a welcome email where someone can get their gift once they've signed up. Okay, with that in place, we need to send traffic to it. So we're using Permafree, contests, and joint promotions to drive traffic and grow that list. Okay, each page on our website supports our growth, right, in this way. The more targeted the page, the better the results. So the purpose, think about it then. So is this page going to be for driving a sale or getting an email address? The home page. Make sure the main focus, the main strong call to action is at the top. Any secondary stuff can go underneath. Your books page. We're going to use this to drive more sales. Okay, we want an easy to use layout, no distracting stuff. People can filter by genre, by pen name. Ideally, we want to be able to use tracking links to figure out, what conversion rates we're getting, how many people are clicking the links. We can't get any of this if we link straight to Amazon from our emails. So we want to send people to our books page first. We can get a lot more data too. But they're also not going to get as distracted by ads. Landing pages. So this is where we send people to download our reader magnet and join our list. The better the page, the bigger your list is going to be. All right. You can also use these landing pages for running contests and joint promotions as well. Then you've got thank you pages, which is telling people to go check their email, making sure you're improving those open rates, maybe even offering them a little, would you like fries with that extra as well. Then ebook delivery. Once they're on your list, you want to deliver on your promise, make it easy for them to download their book and load it. And then your about page, the often forgotten, fairly high traffic page that everybody forgets about. Even if you didn't realize, it's very important. Put your main call to action here as well. And then optional, blogs. Absolutely use blogs if you want to, but don't give yourself another reason to feel guilty about not writing today. Okay, we have enough of those. Okay, it takes a long time to get traction. It can be very helpful for nonfiction. It's difficult to do with fiction. SEO, for the lady asking in the audience, search engine optimization. So as I said before, when you're writing blogs, you want to try and include keywords that Google is looking for, to try and, if someone's searching for how to fix a sink and you've written an article that's full of the phrase how to fix a sink, is going to rank better. But, it's something that's going to take a long time to get any traction. Dog Woman says, great name. What would you name the link to the landing page? Or would you name it? Well, you can call it anything you like. Really doesn't matter, but this is the link that we use in our books. So we're sending people to our landing page, people maybe finding our homepage on their own, but where we have the choice, we want people to go to that landing page because we're more likely to get them onto our email list that way. So the good news is really, we have covered a lot. And for the people in the audience asking, will the slides be available? Will there be a replay? Yes, I believe there is. Libby can confirm in the chat box if she could just confirm that one, but I'm pretty sure the replay is coming out. I'll make sure you have the slides. It's all good. What we don't want to do is throw spaghetti. All right. We want to do something focused and targeted, put some work in now to build this out so that you can have results from it for the rest of your career. And the more good news then, if you're thinking, where do I find the time, or how do I figure out how to set all this up? Then I've got something for you. What if instead of trying to sort of patchwork quilt all of this together and try to figure out how to do it on your own, or pay a designer a lot of money to do it, what if we set it up for you? Meaning me. So I'd like to tell you more. So our all-in-one website software, Nerdly, is designed to give you all of this. So everything we've looked at already, pre-built for you. So I'd like to tell you more and give you a quick tour of Nerdly, if that's okay with you. So let me know in the chat box, and I'll give you a lightning quick tour, see if it's a good fit for you. And then we can get to the Q&A session very soon. Brilliant, lots of yeses. I shall move on then, which is good. Otherwise I'd have to run away. So as Albert Einstein says, everything should be as simple as possible, but not simpler, really. So this is what the goal with Nerdly is, and always has been, is to provide an all-in-one website builder that has everything authors need already there. So you don't have to try and sort of duct tape stuff together. So if you want to build an automated system like we've looked at today, you can just have it given to you on a plate, really. So that's what we wanted to do. The quickest and easiest way to get from A to B without any fuss or stress and no guesswork. Okay, so how does it all work then? So when you sign up for a Nerdly account, and I'll show you what this looks like in a moment with a live tour, but what we do is we install a website for you. So we have a bunch of templates, and you've seen some screenshots throughout this presentation. They're all screenshots I took from sites, templates that we have that you can use. It's got everything you need already there. So all the pages we looked at, those 7 key elements, that's all there, plus a bunch of other stuff as well. So we have those landing pages with pop-up forms. We have home pages where you can have full screen call to action at the top to make sure people are doing what you want them to. We've got book catalogs that automatically update every time you add a new one that you can filter by genre. We've got ebook delivery pages, sales pages, buttons that link to wherever you like, and everything else we've looked at today and a bunch more as well. Main thing being, you don't have to build it yourself. They're all built out for you. Okay, we give you a template, and then all you need to do is sort of use our easy drag and drop interface to switch out the images of your book covers, for example, for your own, and change the copy to what you want it to be. So we handle everything, including the site hosting. So you don't have to mess around with hosting. You don't have to mess around with domain names, because we will give you one. So you can just get started right away. All right, and if you have a domain you already like, you can use that too. So I'm going to give you a very quick guided tour. So this is the moment of truth. So I'm hoping Libby's there with the fire extinguisher. So I'm going to come out of full screen mode now. And we're going to hopefully see if this still works. So I have to switch over my sharing to our Chrome browser now. So can you let me know in the chat box, can you see a screen that says browse our templates on it? Yes, lovely. Fantastic. This is good news. So when you sign up for a Nerdly account, we have a bunch of pre-made templates that are all different designs. You just pick the one you like the look of, and they all have previews, so you can play around with them in real time and see how they work. So we install one of these for you. We host it for you. We give you a free domain name. And there was a question earlier about if you already have a domain name, what do you do? We can move that over as well. So we just make it really easy. You don't even have to think about it. We just give you a website for you to play with that has everything you need. Now I'm going to show you a template. Now I've been working with Libby on this for the last couple of weeks, a special ProWritingAid template that we put together just for this workshop. And all the templates, they have the same features and the same functions, but they all just look a little bit different, depending on what your kind of style is. So I'm going to show you what Nerdly looks like by going through this template. So we have everything that you need on here. So starting with the home page, you have the main hero area at the top here. Now this black bar and this gray bar won't be on your site there because I'm admin and logged in, but just ignore those. So you have the main call to action at the top, which in this case is sending to books. We have a new release alert underneath, which again links to a buy page underneath, and then a call to action at the bottom as well. We've got an event schedule. On this one, we've got a books page, and you can click through onto all of these and see how they look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll up to the top, and I'm going to show you what all the different pages look like, and then give you a quick idea of how you'd go about editing it, because it is extremely easy. So we'll start off with a books page. So on a books page with Nerdly, you get all of this pre-installed for you. So you will get all of these, and you can, if you don't have 6 books, then you can just turn a few of them off. But really the idea is that we're going to make it nice and easy for you to upload your book catalog into the site. Now you'll notice as well these tags down here. If you write in different genres or different series or different pen names, you can add these tags in here that allow you to filter the books. So if you look at just thrillers, for example, it filters them down, or maybe just science fiction, it will filter them down, or maybe just the Jane Doe series, and again, it will filter it. So you can apply any filter that you like, anything you can dream of. And BK Amila says, can I add my logo? Yes, absolutely. You can swap out this sort of placeholder logo for anything you like, but it's the idea is to make it really simple. So I'm going to show you what this looks like when you're editing it. Let's click on the Untold Story NYC. So this is a placeholder that we give you. What you'd want to do, of course, is edit this with your own stuff. So here we go. So I'm just going to have to move a few things out of the way of the screen so I can actually see this. But you'll see on the screen here, we've got the headline here, which is the title of the book. Then you've got the description, and then you've got buttons underneath. So when you click on the buttons, you can add a link to wherever you like. So maybe you're linking to Amazon, to Apple Books, to Kobo, or maybe you're selling direct and you're using your own add to cart button. You can add that in there as well. The main thing is you just have to replace the book cover image here with your own. So let's say this is your book cover. You set that in there. You can change the text in here, and then you can preview it. So there we go. So the cover has changed very, very simply. So all you do here is you just click on replace image, and then you can upload your own book file. All right, really simple. So if you have a book on Amazon, you can just copy the description over, copy the headline over, and then upload the cover. And within 30 seconds, you are pretty much done. So that's a really, really simple way of doing it. I'll show you something slightly more complicated on a landing page. So here we go. So this is where we're sending people that we want to get them on our email list. This is a very dedicated page just for getting people to sign up. So we have that pop-up button. When clicked, they enter their email address in there, they're added to your list. So of course we want to customize this. So we just click on edit and we can swap this all out. So a question from Rain Flirt Leaves. Is this done through WordPress? Yes, we've based this on WordPress because then it's compatible with pretty much anything. And if you want to extend it, you've got that library of 50,000 plus plugins. So we have based it on WordPress to make life easier. So let's say you want to adapt this to your own sort of branding. Really simple. You just click on the element you want to change. Let's say we're going to change the background image. Open up a media library. Now, this was something that I think is really important is most authors aren't photographers. I know I'm not. So we don't necessarily have brilliant images ready to go. So what we've included is something called instant images. So if you're looking for something that's professional looking, you can go here and type it in. So maybe we want something like a rainforest. Let's type that in. If I can spell. Here we go. So rainforest. Let's add that as our background image. And these are all royalty-free images, by the way. So you can use these on your site without any issue whatsoever. So we can select that and add it in, and it's changed. Now we can't really read it overly well with that background. So maybe we want to add an overlay. We can click on that and we can drag this slider and we can make it like this. And then again, we can change our book cover really easily as well. So we upload our own book cover file. Let's say it's this one. And there we go. And you are done. And again, you can preview this. And there it is. I might choose a different color scheme, but that's the idea. Is it's all click, drag, drop, really simple. And we have a bunch of pre-made things you can add in as well. So let's say you want to add in something underneath. We have something called patterns, which are pre-made blocks that we've made for people that have very specific goals. So let's say we want to add a few books underneath. Maybe we do that here, and we can change all of these pictures into book covers if we wish. There we go. We're going to add a caption and add a button. Really, really simple. Maybe we want to add something underneath at the bottom. Maybe at the bottom of the page, we want another call to action. Let's add that in there. There we go. And then we can preview it. There we go. So that's our hero section. List out a few books here, perhaps. Then at the bottom of the page, we're repeating the call to action where people can sign up to your email list. So that's just a very quick example. But the idea is that we built out everything that you could possibly need into some pre-made blocks, pre-made patterns, and it's all drag and drop. So very, very simple to do. So I'm just going to come away from this page so it doesn't save and go back to the main template. So as I said, we've got all of the pages we looked at today, plus other ones as well. So a lot of authors also have online courses. So we've included an online course functionality too. So if you have courses, you can add these into your site and you can password protect them or use a membership plugin to control access, which is really, really cool. So maybe you've got module 1 here is free, but maybe the other modules are paid. You can absolutely do that using Nerdly. So if you're a course creator or you've thought about maybe offering courses in the future, that's all built in to Nerdly, along with e-commerce as well. So if you're wanting to sell your own books or maybe sell your own courses or maybe sell signed paperbacks or hardcovers or something like that, you can do that through Nerdly as well. So we set all this up for you, and then you just add in your product details and you've got a nifty add to cart button and it will add it to the cart and you can collect revenue that way. So I always like to do this when I'm doing a launch. If you're launching an ebook as well, you can link to Amazon, you can link to Nook and Kobo and all these other places, but you can also sell it direct. The main benefit there being is you're keeping sort of 95 to 97% of the list price rather than 30 to 70%. So it makes a big difference, especially as your traffic and email list goes up. So we've tried to really think of everything that you could possibly need and put it in there. We have the blog as well. So if you are a blogger and you do want to blog, that's all included. It works the same as any other normal blog, but we've applied the nice kind of template look to it as well. And especially for you ProWritingAid guys, I had this question come through quite a lot from people asking, what do I do if I haven't launched yet? All right, or my next book's not going to be out for a couple of months. What do I do? Well, remember earlier on, we talked about building buzz ahead of time. That's what we have here with the coming soon page, which is something that I've included in this ProWritingAid template, is somewhere you can send people before your book's ready. So in this case, you're asking people to join a wait list. Then you've got some more information about the book underneath, about the author, about you, and about the book. And then at the bottom again, another call to action to join the wait list. And of course, you can edit this and you can change out all the text and all the images to whatever you want. But that was something that a lot of people in the ProWritingAid groups were asking about. So I've made sure I went and included that for you guys as well. So that's a quick whistle-stop tour of one of our templates, the ProWritingAid template. Hopefully you've seen it's very easy to edit. And this is an example of what we will give you when you sign up with Nerdly. So we hand you a site like this, or we have our other templates as well, which you are free to explore and choose the one you like the best. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to move on over back to the slide deck as well, again, hopefully without breaking anything. And we'll carry on and move on to the Q&A session, because I've seen a lot of questions coming through. So I'll hopefully be able to answer all of those as well. So that's our quick guided tour. So please let me know in the chat box if you can see the slide again, and we will move on and then get to the questions. So let me know, yes, can you see the slides? Brilliant. Okay, so all of this then, main thing is you don't have to think about it. We just build it and give it to you. And then you just click on it to change the things you want to change or leave them alone. So there's no expensive designers, there's no waiting around, there's no having to hack together a dozen different things. We just take care of it. We make life easy for you. And you get lifetime support from all our tech nerds as well. So don't stress the tech. Let us build it for you and give you what you need. That's what we're here for. So you've got a few choices, of course. You know, we can go the DIY route like we talked about. You can find a designer if you want. You can try one of the generic website builders and see if you can get it to work. Or you can take the easy route, which hopefully is what Nerdly can be for you. So pricing them. And I'm absolutely not dissing designers. You earn every penny, my friend. But let's try and make it easy for people who can't work with designers, because you don't want to work with those people who hate you, who can't work with designers. Believe me, because I'm one of them. So, you know, although a custom site might cost 1,500 plus, sometimes 3,000 plus, it depends what you want, of course, but they're certainly not cheap, and nor should they be. But with the right marketing systems in place, you know, your earning potential is going to go up. But we don't think websites should be expensive, especially if you're just getting started. So everything that you've seen today with Nerdly, when you sign up for an account, you get everything for either $30 a month or $250 per year. So annual billing is 30% off. And I'm seeing some questions come through. I get to them eventually, I promise. Plus, they all come with a 30-day free trial, and the hosting and the domains are all taken care of. So you just sign up for a free trial, and then we give you a website to play with. And if you don't like it, you don't have to pay anything. Simple. So what happens when you sign up then? So I'm going to give you a link in a moment. All you need to do is click on it, and we'll put it in the chat box as well. Click the Get Started button, enter your details, and then we'll send you a form. What we call a concierge form. Okay, and that concierge form is going to help us build your website for you. You're going to tell us what template you want, what pages you want, and what you want it to do. We then go and build it. So real humans are building this so that we make sure we get it right. Actual real humans, and I know they're real because I've talked to them. So we set it up for you, and then we hand over the keys. We give it to you, and then you use our drag and drop interface to, you know, make it exactly the way you want it. And yes, the monthly fee includes hosting. Right, there's no extras. And I have got a little bonus for you as well, a little something extra for you guys, because you came to the webinar, you listened to me, and we're now been here an hour plus, I believe. So I want to return the favor a little bit. You know, I want to add a little something extra for you if you decide to start your free trial during this workshop. So the first bonus is, of course, the ProWritingAid template. So this is the one that Libby and I have been working on for the last couple of weeks to hopefully make perfect for you guys. So you will get this template included, and nobody else gets this. This is not a template you will find on the nerdly.com site. It's a secret one, and it's just for you guys. All right, so all you got to do is start a free trial and let us know if you want this one. We'll give it to you, or you can choose one of the other ones. Entirely up to you. Another bonus then. So for you guys who don't like writing sales emails or aren't sure what to put in an email, I've got something very cool for you. And it's what I call the ultimate email swipe file. So what I've done is I've gone through all the emails that I've sent over the years, and I picked out the best ones that I used for launching and promoting books. So as we looked at earlier, we've got the welcome emails, we've got joint promotion emails, content emails, launch emails, all these different types of emails. I've got them all written out for you, examples and templates for you that you can use. So when you are thinking of sending an email out to your list and you're not sure what to put in it, you're not sure what to put in your welcome email or what to say, just look at this, take it, tweak it, steal it, make it yours, and that will take the stress out of things. So if you sign up for a free trial today, I will send this to you. All right, even if you decide that you don't want to carry on beyond the 30-day free trial, you'll still get to keep this because it's my way of saying thank you for giving us a go. And of course, when you finish customizing your site, we're also offering a free site review. And at the moment, I'm doing those myself. So I will go through your site, I will look at it, I'll suggest any maybe minor improvements that need doing. Hopefully there's nothing majorly wrong with it because you're using the templates. But if there's any tweaks that need doing, or maybe a link doesn't work, or maybe an image isn't quite straight, I'll let you know and we'll work on it together. So those are all the bonuses that I've got lined up for you, because it all starts with taking action. So we like to reward people who take action. All right. So to recap then, all right, if you want to get yourself a brand new author website with everything included, with hosting included, subdomain included, and real humans working on your site and support 24/7, then this is absolutely for you. So we want you to get set up with this automated marketing system straight away. So not waiting 2 weeks for a site to come in, waiting maybe 2 days for one coming in instead. All you need to do is hook up an email marketing provider. That's all you need. The website, Nerdly, will take care of everything else. Plus, you'll get all of those bonuses, the ProWritingAid templates and the ultimate email swipe file and a free site review when you start your free trial today. So here's what to do next. All right. So visit the link at the bottom of the page and then click Get Started or Sign Up. And I'm just going to write this link into the chat box. If you've ever tried typing over a microphone while talking, not terribly good at it. So hopefully I've spelled it properly. But it's nerdly.com, which is nrdly.com/pro. And payments, we support credit cards at the moment. So click on sign up or get started and you'll see the pricing option. So you have monthly or yearly, choose whichever one you like. You get everything included, whichever way you go. And then you'll go through to a secure order form. So just enter your billing details here and that will kickstart your 30-day trial. So we won't make any charges at this point. And if you decide you don't want to continue with the trial, you just let us know and no charges will be taken as long as you let us know during your free trial. And you click the place order button and then that will set up your account and you'll be getting started straight away. Then we will send you an email. And in that email, we will say, thank you very much for signing up with Nerdly. And please fill in our concierge form. And this concierge form will basically say, which template would you like? Is there anything else you need? Any special pages that you need? Is there anything you'd like us to do that's custom for you? And this is all included. There's no extras for this. But for example, if you want the ProWritingAid template, click on Other. If you want a different template, just choose it from the list and we will set them up for you. You don't have to worry. It's all taken care of. Once we've received your form, we'll set up your site for you and then we'll hand over the keys, give you a username and a login. It's all hosted for you. Everything's taken care of. It's all live. It's all going. And you just have to go and make the changes, click on a few things, change some images, and you are good to go. And if you ever need any help, we've got detailed help documents for you. We've got our support team already there as well. I'm there to help you if you need it. And it's all just taken care of for you. So if you're ready to get started and you want us to build that sort of author marketing machine for you, take the stress out of all of this and give you better results faster, then this is absolutely, definitely the right place for you. And if you decide it's not a good fit, just let us know. You won't be charged a penny, okay? Plus you can keep the bonuses to use whenever you need, okay? So it all starts with taking action today. So we'll handle all the heavy lifting. You just have to visit the link below, nerdly.com/pro, and then click on Get Started and we'll take it from there. And now it's time for the Q&A. And I've seen lots and lots of questions come through that I've not been able to answer as I'm talking because I discombobulate myself if I try doing that. So Libby, maybe you could ask the nerdly related questions first, in case anyone's trying to sign up and struggling with it.
Yep, that sounds
and then we'll
like
move on to the other ones.
Perfect. I mean, I did just want to say one comment that I saw go through was that you are an author's angel. I thought you'd like to hear that. Yeah, okay, we've got loads of questions about Nerdly. So one and a couple of things might be like repeats of information, just so people know know what they're sort of getting into. Stuff. First one, how long is the free trial again? 30 days.
30 days. 30 days.
Perfect. There you go. If somebody hasn't finished their book yet, do you think it's still worth them getting the free trial?
Well, you absolutely will need a site at some point. It's whether or not you want to do it now. I mean, this is why we included the coming soon page, because this is something that you can send people to right now and start growing an email list right now in advance of the book being ready, so that you'll have a few people ready to buy it when it comes out. So I think that was the main reason we included it, because we know a lot of people are just getting started. And, you know, if you don't want to stress about websites, this is a good option.
Perfect. I guess kind of on that, not wanting to stress about websites, because some of the other, some of your competitors can be a little bit stressful, trying to get through those. What is Nerdly's sort of greatest advantage over other website builders? And then also kind of coming off of that, some people have been saying they've got Wix websites outstanding. You've got a couple of people saying that they want to see whether they can sort of finish their contracts on other things early and move over to Nerdly. Can you import existing content to Nerdly? How easy is it to make the switch from one provider over to Nerdly?
Well, the first part of the question is how is it different?
Yes.
The main thing is it's geared towards authors. So if you sign up for unnamed competitor, they tend to have, you know, a nice looking template, but it doesn't do what you need it to. So you then have to go and sort of build out a new page and figure out how to make it work the way you need it to. And, you know, you can get it to work, absolutely, but it's how much stress do you want? So what we've decided to do is try and bring that ease of use of other unnamed competitors to Nerdly, but make it specifically for authors, and try and, you know, keep it at the same sort of price range, give it the same level of support, the same ease of use, but making it specific to authors. And for those people who, you know, have a site already, if you like your website and it's doing what it needs to do, you know, you don't have to switch. I'm not saying everybody must use this for their website. You know, if you like your website and it's working for you, by all means, stick with it. But if you don't, or you don't have a website, or you need help, then this is a great option. And if you do want to import stuff over, in some cases it can work. So if you currently have a WordPress site, for example, in some cases we can export all of your blog posts and pages from your old site and import it into your new one. It doesn't work with every platform. I think WordPress works, Blogger works, there's a couple of others, but in some cases we can export the pages and then re-import them. Otherwise, it's really just a case of kind of copy and pasting the text over and then adding in the images. So it's not a mountain of a task either way. So it is doable.
Perfect. Is the pricing for Nerdly in US dollars?
US dollars, yes.
US dollars, lovely. And what is the deadline for the ProWritingAid template?
Well, I was going to say just on the workshop, but that sounds a bit mean. So shall we say Sunday?
Uh-huh.
If we say Sunday, I'll tell you what, if Libby can email out the replay tomorrow, I'll send her some information about the links to use and when it's closing and stuff like that. So we'll keep it open a couple of days, but I can't keep it open forever because it's kind of supposed to be exclusive for you guys. So I have to kind of take it down at some point, but we'll keep it there till Sunday.
Otherwise, so all the people who didn't show up this evening will be able to get in there too. So yeah. What about security? Sort of, I suppose people are worried about, you know, they're collecting people's email addresses. I know somebody asked whether it sort of has a firewall, like what the security systems are on it. I now
well, every site comes with SSL as standard and HTTPS as standard. It also comes with Cloudflare protection as well as standard. So they're very secure already, certainly as secure as you need them to be outside of the NSA. So, you know, that's all included. There's no extras for that. That's just what we think is should be standard.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that's what you meant.
I think so.
Yeah.
Somebody else has asked about two-factor authentication for getting into the website builder.
You can add that. So because this is why we built it on WordPress, because there's always someone who thinks of something that we haven't.
Yes.
For example, two-factor authentication. Now, because we're on WordPress, you can go to the plugins directory and you can install something called WordFence, which enables two-factor authentication for your site, which is just very helpful. So if there's anything specific you do need, then, you know, you can add it usually with a plugin. And I can usually point you at which are the good ones and which ones to avoid. But, you know, if you need that, you can add it. Two-factor authentication, for anyone who's asking, is where, you know, you log in with your email address and password, and then it sends you a text message, for example, just to make sure that if someone steals your password, they can't get into your site. So that's something you can add. Yes.
Lovely. Is it possible to only buy a website review from you?
Unfortunately not, no. We offer them as part of Nerdly because I'm familiar with the Nerdly site, and I can go in there and I can make any changes. I can see what needs fixing. I can, in some cases, do it for you if you need me to, but I can't do that with other platforms because I don't know them. So that's why we offer it as part of Nerdly.
Perfect. If people have readers in 2 languages, can they have one web page that switches between 2 languages with Nerdly?
Well, there's a few ways of doing it. It depends on what kind of site hierarchy you're using. So a lot of sites will use like, it'll be like nerdly.com/ENG for English /content would be all in English. And then it might be nerdly.com/ESP/content, and that would all be in Spanish. And we do that using custom post types. The technology side of it escapes me slightly. I know it can be done, but this is why we have humans instead of AI doing all of this, because you know, you can ask them and they know how to do it because they're very clever. So they can help you do that if you need it. I
mean, I think that's one of the best things about it, is that you get a human building your website for you.
It is helpful, yes.
Part of it. Great, yeah. Right, I've got loads of questions written down here. I'm just trying to work out which ones are about Nerdly. I think we might have gotten through. If anybody's got any more questions about getting set up with Nerdly, pop them in the chat, and I will see those and put those to Nick as well. Can you talk to anyone over the phone before you sign up for Nerdly?
We don't have any sort of phone system set up. If you want to send me an email, absolutely can do. And I can talk to you via email, but we don't have anything set up for phone. What does Gary said? Oh, Gary says, I assume the coming soon page is in place of the WordPress default coming soon. No, it's a page I made that's for people who don't have a book out yet, but will soon. So I made that for them. It's not like a 404 or sort of placeholder page. Yeah, I made it from scratch just for that. So you could use it for that if you wanted to. Katrina says, is there a discount for more than one website? We don't have that in place at the moment, but we might be able to figure something out. It would depend how many you needed. We can do all of this on a case-by-case basis. So if you want to shoot me an email, we can figure something out if required. But if there's any non-Nerdly questions, I can answer those too. My email is, well, if you email support@nerdly.com, then you'll get an actual ticket that can be tracked so we won't lose you. And that's probably the best way. But yes, any other questions?
ProWritingAid in the subject there, just so you know where they're coming from. Cool. Yeah, okay, we've actually got quite a few non-Nerdly questions. So I'll go for sort of email ones first, from way back at the beginning of the webinar. Somebody asked, is it good to follow the 80-20 rule? So sort of 80% non-salesy emails going out and 20% promotional email going out to your emails.
Well, I like to think of 80-20 really to be every email. So the rule of thumb that I have is, if you could take the sales pitch out of the email and the email still makes sense and is still interesting, then it's a good email. So what I like to do is you know, I'll often tell a joke or tell a story or discuss an article. I think a lot of, especially fiction writers, get very hung up on what to write in emails. But I think we all forget that being an author automatically makes us interesting. So you could literally just talk about what you did today and people would find it interesting. If you go onto Twitter and follow James Rollins, the author, all he does is tweet about, what he's done today. Because he's an author, people are fascinated by it. I kid you not. But also you can link to interesting articles. I mean, if you write science fiction, you can talk about interesting scientific discoveries, like, do we really live in a simulation? Can we travel faster than the speed of light? You can talk about, complete inaccuracies in Hollywood movies. It's something fun that people enjoy that's relevant to your work. The same with romance authors, thriller authors, nonfiction. It's easy for nonfiction because you just kind of talk about your topic. But for fiction authors, it can be easy as well. But you're not trying to teach people with fiction, are you? You're trying to entertain them or inspire them in some way. So that's where I start with an email. Does it entertain? Does it inspire? Does it educate? And then there might be a call to action at the bottom. But by that point, it's not salesy because it's not in your face. Yeah. People can choose not to carry on reading and it's fine. That's how I like to approach it.
And somebody in the chat did say, sign up for Nick's emails for examples of how to do emails. And I would actually second that. They are great emails.
Thank you.
They're just interesting reads. It's great. Cool. What else have we got here? So we had a lot of questions about sort of what if you only have one book, but then also would it be good for an author of a series or an author who is as yet unpublished? So as we kind of said, you've got that coming soon page, but I assume kind of how easy is it when you go into Nerdly to just kind of be like, okay, I'm the author of 3 books in a series. What sort of thing would you sort of want people to ask for in that kind of situation?
Well, when you sign up with Nerdly, you get a website which has 6 books on it, and they're all placeholders, right? So if you have 3 books, just delete 3 of the pages, and then go into the existing ones and change out the covers. As I showed you on the little walkthrough earlier, you just kind of click on the cover and put your own one in there, and then it will just automatically update and be ready for you. If you don't have a book ready yet, I would just use the coming soon page and then turn all the other pages off. So you don't actually have to delete them, actually. You can just hide them and then they're ready for later. So I would do that. If you have one book and you want to use kind of the approach we've looked at today, as a lot of people said in the comments, so many authors, when they understand how powerful this is, they will write a short story to use as a reader magnet. Okay, and that just works wonders. Or a deleted scene or a bonus chapter or something. It doesn't have to be a massive novel, just something interesting that's relevant to your books. That's what I absolutely would do. Yeah, I think that covers it. If I've missed something out,
I think so. Somebody did ask, rather than sort of the system that you suggested, sending the reader magnet to people sort of via email, how would that compare to having, say, like a sample of a chapter on like a password protected page on your site? What would be the advantages of sending it out on an email? Because I'd say there's probably quite a few more advantages.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's an option, but you want the email address. Yeah. So the whole point of giving it away is to get the email address so that you can then market to people, in an ethical and sustainable way, not just blasting them with nonsense. But you want the email address. Otherwise, there is no point doing it. So if they're signed up to your email list, you will then email them a link to download it. Otherwise, how else would they see it? But I mean, the book isn't in the email. The book is on your website and you're linking to it from your email. So maybe you do have it stored on a page with a password. But, I would give them a file to make life easier. And in terms of a sample chapter, they don't work very well. When you're thinking about a reader magnet, you want to offer something complete. So it doesn't have to be long. So you could write a short story that was the same length as a sample chapter, and the short story would be downloaded 10, 20 times more than the sample chapter, because people don't like incomplete stuff. Like if you're presented with, sign up to my list and I'll give you the first chapter for free versus sign up to my list and I'll give you this awesome short story for free, which one are you going to go for? It's the short story wins every single time. So, a sample chapter is better than nothing. But I would definitely think about, putting something complete in there, even if it's something short, it's fine.
We'll do a couple more questions because I'm aware that we've taken quite a lot of your evening. But how do people need to hook up sort of a separate means of distributing their books? So can they, and there was another question that was, can you link to Amazon if you're not an Amazon affiliate, and sort of how do you actually go from having your Nerdly site to selling your book to people?
Yeah, so linking to Amazon, you might see in the walkthrough. I mean, you can, when you get the replay, you can go back and look at the walkthrough again. But when you have a button on the page, you click on that button when you're editing, and it asks you what link you want in there. You just put your link in. You can add more buttons too. You can have as many buttons as you like. You can go mad with buttons. And have them linked to wherever you want. So if you have an Amazon Associates account, which is like an affiliate account, you can add your Amazon Associates tracking link into your page so that you can see, you know, how many people are buying the books and where they're coming from, which you can't do with email. You're not allowed to. You can only do from your site. So it's a very powerful way of tracking your results. So for example, we used that to work out that when we did our USA Today bestseller campaign, we found that people buying, having come from an email of ours, so we'd sent an email to a page and then they clicked through to Amazon, were converting at about 30%, versus people coming from Amazon ads were converting at like 6%. And it was just, you know, each click from the ad is costing like 60 cents. And each click from the email costs nothing. So it's you know, it's the kind of data that's helpful to have. So that's what I would do.
Perfect. So your list of 7 essential pages didn't include a contact page. Do you recommend not having one, or did it just sort of not make it onto that top?
Well, I wouldn't say it was a major page, because I mean, you get them on your email list, they can reply to you. So if you want to encourage people to email you, I would, you know, say, you know, get your free book when you join my email list. And, you know, if you need to get in touch with me, you can just reply to any of my emails. And by all means, you know, on your about page, you might want to put a contact form in there. But if it's not supporting email list or sale, you question why you'd need it, because, you know, but it's a personal choice. That's why it wasn't mentioned in the top 7.
When you're putting your reader magnet offer in your book, where do you put it? So is it after the copyright page or just before the main contents?
I would put it right before chapter 1 or prologue, if you use prologues. So like the last thing before the story starts or the first chapter starts.
Lovely.
And again at the end as well.
Okay, so at the beginning and the end, so people definitely, they definitely see it, because once you've been reading the book, you might have forgotten if it was at the beginning.
Well, that's it. I mean, we put it at the front, and most people aren't going to take you up on it at that point.
If they want to read the book,
but they've seen it, so it's in the back of their mind, and when they see it again at the end, you know, these are the best people you could ever have on your list, who have read a full book of yours and then want more. Like, these are the people that will get you onto a bestseller list if you can find enough of them, which is why I like to talk about all the stuff we talked about at the beginning, about building up those people on your list in the first place.
I think I've got one more question I will ask this evening, and that was a specific Nerdly question, actually.
Sure.
Do Nerdly templates include sort of ones for kidlit authors or children's book authors? Is there one?
We haven't done it by genre. I mean, that's a really dangerous thing to fall into, because if I do a romance template and a thriller template and a sci-fi template, you know, I'll have someone who comes in and says, but I do historical Amish dinosaur fiction. And we end up with 700 templates and everything just explodes. So you can use any template for anything. They all work exactly the same way. They all include books, they all include courses, they all include reader magnets, landing pages, everything that I showed you in the walkthrough. Every single template has that. They just all look a bit different. So if you're a children's author, you know, go in there and use our built-in royalty-free image search to add in appropriate images, add your book covers in there, choose a color scheme that is, you know, coherent with your brand, and you're good. You know, that's the kind of thing that we'd recommend. And that's why the site review is included as well. If you're struggling to figure out how to do, you know, that kind of branding thing, reach out to us and we'll help.
Yeah, lovely. Well, thank you so much, Nick. That was so much information. And we are going to be putting the replay up on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, which is just ProWritingAid TV on YouTube, and I'll be up sort of maybe even later this evening for me, or later
lovely.
today for everywhere else. But thank you all so much for coming along, for asking such great questions. I'm sorry we couldn't get through all of them, but I hope we got through the majority. And thank you to Nick again for such a brilliant presentation, and for making that ProWritingAid template. It looks fantastic and we are really happy with it.
My pleasure. And I did promise as well, for everyone who stayed to the end, if you want to head on over to yourfirst10kreaders.com, which is also in the chat box, there is a free course on there about what you need to have in place to get to $1,000 a month or more in book sales. Okay, so this is sort of a roadmap that you may wish to follow if that's a goal for you, and that's a free course that I've got lined up for you. So a big thank you to Libby and ProWritingAid for having me. It's always a pleasure to come and talk to everyone live on the line. A huge thank you to everyone who came along live. It's wonderful to get to talk to you all. For those of you who signed up for a free trial, I hope you enjoy playing with your new website. And if you do need anything, you can get in touch with me at the credentials that Libby's posted above. But with that being said, a big thank you again to everybody. And I'll sign off. I think my children might even be asleep if I'm lucky.
Yeah. Lovely. Well, thank you so much, Nick. Thank you, everyone. And we will see you at another session for writers with ProWritingAid. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.